For the longest time, I secretly wanted more. I often found myself shrinking to fit in, settling for what was comfortable, and even selling myself short. Once I finally accepted that we deserve success and we are blessed with the power to achieve it, I stopped playing small. I'm serious about building a life I love, and you should be too. I'm Denise Taylor of DeniseTaylor.live, and welcome to Life, Love, in the Pursuit of Happiness. I help women prioritize themselves, their success, and their happiness. Let's meet this week's achiever whose story will inspire you to push past your fears and soar. Well, hello there. It's Denise Taylor. I'm always excited to have you join me each and every week here on Life, Love, in the Pursuit of Happiness. This is where we believe you can build a life that you love without apology. I know that God has given us power, and with that power, we can do, have, achieve, and become anything that our hearts desire. Here I talk about the 5 success superpowers. They are number 1, see yourself successful. When you can conceive it, you can become it. You can accomplish it. You indeed can do it. Number 2 is to shake off fear. Fear is real, but we can't let it paralyze us. We have to know that we can shake it off and keep it moving. Number 3 is do the work. We have to do the work to see our success come to pass, but it does not mean we don't have a promise. God said he would bless the work of our hands, so that means as we're doing the work, we can see those blessings flow. Number 4 is take care of you. This is the one where we often fall down. We go all in, but the mantle that we have when we are called to accomplish and achieve, it's a heavy one. So taking care of ourselves is a priority that we all need to make in every aspect of who we are. We need a game plan to take care of ourselves in every dimension, mentally, physically, financially, professionally. We have to make sure that we're edifying and building ourselves up. And finally, number 5 is hold fast to our faith. That is the differentiator from where you are now and where you want to be. Now, if you've been with me the last few weeks, then you have enjoyed the Tips from the Top series. We have had some awesome conversation with some industry leaders who are sharing from their experience those game-changing moves that have helped them to achieve success. This has been critically important because oftentimes we don't get to sit across the table from successful people. But over the course of the Tips from the Top series, that's exactly what we've all had a chance to do, and it has been incredible. So if you've missed any episode, be sure to go back and check them out because it will be a blessing. Now, the finale today is no exception. My guest today is Terrence Hawkins. He is a personal partner of the Taylor household. His entire family supports my entire family, and you'll learn more about how that is. But Terrence is a success in every possible way. Not only is he successful in his business, but he is successful in an interest of giving back. Terrence is an enrolled agent, and he started his business 25 years ago. He has achieved the measure of success of going the distance, and we're going to talk about his achievement. And I think when you listen to the tax saving strategies that he is going to mention, you're going to want to plug in. So buckle up because this is a great conversation. And I guarantee you, if you put it into practice, you'll see some of the success that we've seen in our own family and that you're going to hear about on this episode. So I am so excited today to welcome Mr. Terrence Hawkins to Life, Love, in the Pursuit of Happiness. Now, you can often catch him saying that we need to keep more of our money. And I have my own testimony as it relates to working with Terrence. He definitely is my go-to when it comes to my finance strategies. And he has been a man of his word. he has helped me to keep more of my money. And so when I was thinking about this Tips from the Top series, I thought about his success. I thought about how he shows up, how he delivers on his promises and commitment to help people. And I wanted to bring him to the table to not only talk about what he does, but talk about the man behind the mission. So with that, I want to welcome Terrence to Life, Love, and Pursuit of Happiness. How are you?
I am good, and it is awesome to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. So introduce yourself and briefly walk us through your professional career.
Oh, my goodness. Well, my name is, of course, Terrence Hawkins. I have, I am in the financial industry. I've been there for a while, now. I actually started that at age of 15, and I am 50 years old this year. I praise God for making that. I've been able to actually make that 50, but I've been doing it. My father actually taught me how to do taxes at age 15 in the home there in Henderson, North Carolina, where I'm from. I came to Charlotte, North Carolina to attend the University of North Carolina at Charlotte in '89 and stuff. And I've just actually love finances, love to actually help people with finances. I founded Hawkins Accounting and Tax Service in '96. That means that we're 25 years old this year.
Yes, congratulations.
We celebrated the 25 this year, and I say we because my wife is now the CEO of Hawkins Accounting and Tax Service here with us, and I'm happy to be there because it's the only time I get to see her. If I was in the taxes all the time, so I'm glad that she's working here with me, there. But so we're 25 years actually strong. I'm there as far as doing accounting and taxes, and then my son joined the firm as well. So he's with us also as well as far as doing it. But we focus, on helping people, as you just say, keep more of your money. Save money is your money. Let's keep it. Let's use the tax code in our benefits. I truly believe that everybody should have the opportunity to make a lot of money and pay $750 in taxes, if you know what I mean. Okay,
I do.
So that's what we are about.
All right. And so when you decided to go into full-time entrepreneurship and start your firm, what kind of drove that decision?
Wow, that's a great question. A lot of people don't ask me that. I actually started my tax company to save enough money to purchase a McDonald's.
Wow.
That's where it actually started. When I was at McDonald's, I was one of those individuals that you might have called, if you remember back in the day, there was a commercial and they called a gentleman Calvin. I was like Calvin way back in the day in McDonald's that went to school, but I love McDonald's. I was at McDonald's for over 10 years, and I had did everything that McDonald's needed me to do for us, all the levels from, that fry person, that grill person, through management, put myself through college by working at McDonald's here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I went to Oak Brook, Illinois, where they had the Hamburger University at. And that was my last step. And all I needed, Denise, was the money. All I needed was the money. And they had several different programs that you can do at McDonald's at that time. One was a lease program and one was a purchase program. But needless to say, I didn't have money for either one of them. So I was able to ask my current owner at that time, what did he do to purchase the McDonald's that he did? And he was the one that told me, it's like, do you do anything else except working here? I said, well, I still do taxes for my college friends and for the employees and stuff part-time. He looked at me, he said, you need to start that as a real business.
Wow.
And that's when I actually started Hawkins as a real business, because he had that conversation with me in '95. And so that's why in January of '96, when we, started Hawkins Accounting and Tax Service. So that's really how I got started.
That's pretty amazing. That's actually incredible, because a lot of times we don't understand the driving factor. So clearly Hawkins blossomed enough that McDonald's didn't have to come back to the forefront.
I tell you, within 2 years, I remember talking to my father, within 2 years, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I can do this and not have to worry about all of this and the employees and the management and the 24-hour stores and things of that nature. And I love what I did, at the same time. So yeah, so it started as something just to get enough cash flow to purchase something. And I end up finding out, I really like this even more.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. Now you mentioned that your wife is now CEO of the firm. How did it blossom into a family affair, including your wife and your son?
Oh, wow. I met my wife at UNC Charlotte, and she had a political science and criminal justice major.
Mm-hmm.
And so she started working for a law firm, and she found out quickly, she said that law is crooked. I was like, oh, you didn't know that. So she wanted to go into medical and stuff, and she didn't want her father to have to actually pay for it. So she went to the Air Force. So she went to the Air Force for 4 years and became a surgical tech there. And I basically was just starting to grow really then. We got married in 98, had started a company in 96. And around that 2 years, when I was going to go out full time and stuff, it was a conversation with her on, okay, look, you can work in the hospital, or you can help me January through April and take the rest of the year off.
Wow.
So she was like, I take door number 2, right? She's like door number 2. So she did that, and I taught her. I taught her everything as far as the tax and the thing. And I can tell you now, she really runs the entire tax department of the actual company. I mean, just like boom, boom, boom. So that's how it actually started. And then, of course, my son, because I believe in the strategies of having a business. And one of them I always talk about was hire your kids, and stuff. And we did the same thing when he started to be at age 7, and, to just do little things and speaking engagements. But when he got older, 16 at that time, I did just like my father, did. I really taught him, taxes, and started teaching him things like that. And I was so happy. I can remember he was in the 11th grade, and he looked at me, he said, Daddy, he's like, when I go to college, it's like, I'm going to do accounting. I was like, yes. I really thought about it as the biblical days then. I was like, you know what? Your name is no longer Nicholas. It's retirement, So that's how it happened, and stuff, to actually become a family affair and stuff. So not only actually that, my sister, she actually runs the tax office in Henderson, North Carolina also as well. She took over actually from my father, his office there. So that's what we're doing.
That's awesome. I love how the legacy just permeates throughout. And I love your succession planning too. That's on point.
That's right.
I love that. So from your perspective, how do you define success?
Well, everybody has success differently. It's that's the first thing. I want people to understand success is really what you desire to actually get out of something, not just looking at somebody else. Okay. Everybody have different goals, different objectives and things of that nature. Some people honestly, truly just say that, hey, as long as I'm happy, okay, I'm successful. But what does happy mean to you? Okay. What does happy mean to you? And when I look at that, for us, it was because originally I was thinking about, I wanted all of these different stores and locations of, Hawkins Accounting and Tax Service, because going from McDonald's franchise, I was really thinking I can make Hawkins franchise. Here's 25 years later, I didn't. And it become like, why? And a lot of people have called me and asked me to even do that, because in their view, that was success of Hawkins was going to end up being. But success for me, like I honestly say, success for me is, even though I had a tax season business at that time and a year round, one of the things was to be able to provide for my family financially and be there for my family emotionally. And one of the success things that I really always pride myself on is my son, that's been there for him. Our kids like to do sports and activities and things of that nature. One of the things that was big on his heart was basketball. Do you realize that because I manage my success level as being able to be that way, not just grow in business, but finances and my time is gone. My whole time was to be there for him. And I had a goal of whatever he wanted to happen in his basketball career, I was going to be there. And I'm so happy to even actually know that I never missed not one of his basketball games.
That's incredible.
And I remind people, basketball season is tax season. And I had so many of my friends and stuff that does taxes that, like tax season, people say they have no time. They're always here and always this. I was not going to sacrifice, the business for my son's time, especially actually growing up. And I was able to be at his games. I was able to coach his games. I was able to be the head coach, even AAU, and do travel season. Wow. So that was big. And while having this company, because my priorities was basically, I wanted this. That became success to me.
Mm.
You know, as far as doing it, it wasn't that I've had 10 locations, 20 locations. It was what's going to make me happy. And the happiness was to see the smile on my son's and my wife's face.
That's priceless.
I knew then that we were successful in our own right.
Wow, that's incredible. That is absolutely incredible, because you're right. The overlap of basketball season with tax season, and you often hear stories of people who are in the tax preparation space and the space that you thrive in, that they lose all consciousness of time during that season, and the demand is there. And you were in a season when your business was growing.
Exactly. I had so many of my friends that asked me, how do you do it? Because even when he was in junior high, you know, those junior high games, and when he's in junior, they start early.
Mm-hmm.
They start like 4 o'clock. So here in tax season in February, and actually telling them that, you know, telling my clients, like, no, my last appointment is at 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 2 times a week, Tuesday and Thursday, you know,
Mm-hmm.
2 times we did at 3. It's like, I'll be doing, and I was like, no, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you can, when you have your business, you know, do your own time schedule. You know, why is it to actually have the flexibility of owning your own business, but the business run you instead of you running the business?
I love it. I love
So
it.
you have to end up running your business and not the business running you for whatever design that you're trying. Now you got to put work in. Nothing is easy,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to have the guidelines and stick to that guidelines. And that was one of my guidelines. It was like, hey, I would not miss this part. And, you know, from the basketball practices and, you know, all of those kind of things. But I was so happy, Denise, when he got them licensed. Oh my God. They gave me an extra hour at least, right?
That rite of passage is good, especially when you have a child that plays in some kind of sport. You're just happy to just say, here's the keys, just drive yourself.
Exactly. Go ahead. Dad, I need to go practice. No, go ahead. I need to go. Oh my God. Yes. That was like, oh, I got extra time. I can do this thing now.
It's almost like when they got out of diapers and you felt like you got a raise.
Yeah, exactly. And literally, yes.
So tell me this, what was the hardest thing you had to overcome to sit in the seat you're in?
The hardest thing I had to overcome is the transition from corporate America to full-time.
Mm-hmm.
That was a decision that I knew it had to be made. Eventually was going to be made, but it was a hard time as far as making that decision because of the uncertainty. Mm-hmm. of what was really going to happen, and especially when you have a family and you was going to actually do certain things. It's you know, I can remember that it came the time that, okay, my part-time tax business was going to be hindered, okay, by me being at this full-time job. Mm-hmm. But my part-time business and building up wasn't really taking over everything I need for this full-time job, right? As far as financially, it's like, oh my God. So how do I make that decision to see that, okay, is hindering my business and my passion for us to grow? And as far as, so that's why you see a lot of people try to get loans and get things, or just for that curve over as far as doing it. But not that they're the uncertain, because I had to go and talk to what? My spouse. Mm-hmm. Okay. I talked to my spouse and my business partner spouse, and I'm like talking to her about doing it. And when one is not as just, you know, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I'm like, go there. And she wasn't. She learned to be there, but she wasn't there at that time. So to be able to do that and to partner, and as your spouse and partner, that means whatever goes wrong at the office goes wrong at home. Okay? Because you're there all the time. So that conversation piece, and to be able to do that, and all of a sudden, while your son is still young at that time, you got responsibilities. Mm-hmm. So the hardest part about me to actually be at this position was those decisions on when it was going to be the time to go to the next level.
Oh, wow. That's
when it was going to be the time to go to the next level.
That's a good one, because that transition space can often be the thing that paralyzes people from moving forward. There's nothing like it. Actually, I posted something yesterday, something to the effect that says the salary you get almost holds your dreams hostage, because a lot of times you don't want to make that shift that you're talking about, and you forfeit your dreams because you're either comfortable, you can't have the hard conversations and get alignment with your family and or spouse, and so you just kind of concede on it all. What was the undergirding thing that you think pushed you over the hurdle to say, I'm all in on making the shift?
Oh man, when I'm a competitive person, and competitive doesn't mean just you going against somebody. It's going against yourself as well, and more importantly, what people think and say about you that you can't do. Mm-hmm. So when people were saying certain things, I said people, managers, and the corporate America, I was that, right? And everything was saying actually certain things of, you're not going to be able to do this, and we got you. I can clearly remember when I got married. And like you get married and stuff, you want, you got a little money, and I go buy this nice car and stuff like that, right? This trooper. I had out of the showcase room, and I'm thinking I'm balling here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and stuff, having fun. But I know it was a big payment. Do you know that the manager that I was at that particular time, and I always remember this word, he basically actually said, "Oh, nice car. Oh, this is that." And he looked and he said, "We got you now."
Wow.
Yes. Yes. He actually said that to me. He's like, "We got you now."
Wow.
And I was like, huh? He was like, you just said it and just kind of walk on. But it stuck with me because I knew what he meant. He meant that now you got this huge bill, you're not going to be able to go and do anything else. And that what keep individuals. We got bills, we got life, we got home, we got all this, and that salary is covering all of that. And then the corporate America, yes, pay you just enough, okay, so that you can cover those expenses. And then the more salary you make, the more things you get. And it covers just enough to do that because your lifestyle do change, okay, when things happen. But it's not enough for you to be able to basically be able to replace that with a business sometimes because that business has to build. So it's a hard decision on actually doing that. But my goal was when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, we'll see. All right, we'll see and stuff like that. So things like that I look at what individuals have said to me in the past, of not thinking. I can remember one of my other owners and stuff at the stores, once he saw what I've done, with Hawkins and stuff, and this was years later, it was very good to actually see him come into my office still. And he looked at me stuff, and he was looking around when I was talking to him about his father-in-law's taxes, and he was like, "I'm proud of you." I was like, like looked at me, "I'm proud of you." He said, honestly, he said, "I didn't think that you was going to make it." But that driving me because, some people are against you and taking that next level. Everybody's not your friend. And that's one of the things that you have to actually remember. Even some of the co-workers in the back may not be your friend. May not be understandable on certain things that you can actually do and stuff and go forward. But if you actually have that drive to actually get there and you have mentors and people to talk to you and guide you, take all of those things and fuel your passion. See, I take the good things and the bad things to fuel me. Some of the encouragement, yes, I take, yeah, they say I can do it, this and that. But also some of the people that's trying to go against me, it just fuels me. I'm competitive. I'm like, okay.
I love it. Look, you sitting here inspiring me. I got me ready to go. So tell me this, what's the best advice you've ever received and who gave it to you?
Wow, the best advice that I've ever actually got. Well, I can actually say the best, not say advice, but the mentor that I had. Okay. And it was that same man at McDonald's that I talked to and that told me to start the company, even though it was for a different reason and when he needed me for a different thing. But I got to be hands-on with this person, going there because I was 23 and I was his operations systems manager. So I was I'm running 8 other stores that he had here in Charlotte, North Carolina at 23. Okay. But what I got to see and witness was just amazing. It showed me everything about running a business. At that time, me not thinking I was going to have a business. And I say that because sometimes you don't know where your next step is, but always position yourself to learn. And what I saw him was when he was going from his managers and talking to them about profit and loss and his statements and doing this and doing that. And I'm seeing them dissecting profit and loss statements and, how to cash flow this and do this and the expenses. That's why, as you know, I'm all about the profit and loss and looking at those expenses the way that I am. okay, in doing so. But when he actually started to do those things, I saw the work ethic in doing this and doing that and everything that he actually had. And, he was the one to have to say, hey, you have to put things into position, okay, to get to the next level. And that kind of actually stood with me and put things into position to get to the next level. But that was just one industry there, because then every level that you take, there's another type of advice that helps you. You can't get way up there until you start here first. Okay. Because you're going to start meeting people and being around people that's going to help you to get to the next level. And one of the things that someone actually told me in the other industries that I am and stuff is surround yourself with successful individuals. Okay. But then another person actually told me, the old thing is don't forget where you are. Okay. And it's surround yourself. I merged both of those things to be like, hey, remember when this was going on with your life and trying to get to the next level and how hard it is, and actually give back here. And then actually, hey, remember now that you got these millionaires and stuff that you're around here. They always say, how many millionaires is on your cell phone if you're trying to get there? So surround yourself with people that's trying to actually get you. That was one of the things in the industries that really got me there. But that was said about a lot of people. But be ready for the obstacle at every level. Mr. Andre Vaughn, I can tell you stuff. He was in a networking company actually with me, entrepreneur himself. He always actually said something. I can actually say that I really actually love actually what he said. He said, for every level, there's a new devil. He always said, for every level, there's a new devil. And I remember that because every time I get to this level and ready to knock on this, and I'm waiting for what's about to happen so I can conquer it. I'm just waiting. So it wasn't really just one person, I guess is what I'm saying. It's really what a lot of individuals over the years that I really listened to individuals. There was tapes, there was seminars, there was all those things. The thing that really helped me was don't think that you know it all yourself. That was just the bottom line. It's just like, yes, I might be good in tax. And even when I'm good in tax, I'm already like, I don't know it all myself. That's a lot of pages in the tax code. I don't know it all myself. He said, but find the things that you love, your passion, and be focused on it. Those are the things actually that, I really gathered from all of the mentors and the people that I've listened to and stuff and talked to that have helped me.
One of the things, that I can go back to when you and I first started working together that stands out based on what you just said, you were telling me about things you were learning. You were like, I'm learning about this, about moves you can make with this and moves you can make with that. And that was one of the most intriguing parts, is because you were beginning to realize that your clientele was elevating to levels that you needed to know more so that you could help them navigate. And so when you're saying don't get this sense that you've arrived or that you know it all, and be in that life learner stage, I've seen you exemplify that in just working with me. And so I can see how you put that into action. And that's impressive. Very, very impressive.
Thank you. And I'm still learning.
So when you think of yourself as a leader, what makes you proud?
Other people accomplishing their goals. I mean, that's I can say that quickly. When they accomplish their goals, I get a sense of smile on my face. And that drove my passion even when I actually taxes first. It started off with my clients because I saw those as goals as well. As you said, the deductions and the minimizing of this, I used to always like to see next year, did it happen? Did we get a good plan? And did we do this? And did we that? Are they accomplishing? But then what other individuals are asking me, because as I said, I'm an entrepreneur at heart, meaning I love people to be entrepreneurs as well. Okay. In doing that. So when I see some of the advice that I can share with them, or that what people share with me, or some things that I learned, and I see them accomplish that, I'll be like, yeah, that's good. Because that's what it's all actually about for me. To see other people flat out win is what, actually really actually get me there. So as a leader, it's like, what can I say? What can I do? How can I connect you with somebody else that I might not be doing it, but can I be a part in that success story of somebody else? Can I actually do that? And that's what my whole word, is all about, impact. I talk about impact all the time. Impact, because impact is beyond me when I'm living here on this earth. What can happen or can start somewhere else that I might just say one little thing and then happen for somebody later. I might not even know that person or do anything after with that person, whatever. Because I can remember in the 7th grade, there was somebody that impacted my life. And I can tell you, I don't know the person's name. I can't even remember what the person had on now. Okay. But in the 7th grade, there was a speaker that came to Eaton Johnson's middle school in Henderson, North Carolina, and he spoke to us. And his whole thing was hard now, easy later. That's all I remember was the title and the overall subject of it. If you work hard now, you can have it easy in life later. Now, of course, as an educator, he was actually really thinking about hard in school now, you can get a good job and stuff later. But the same thing goes on with anything that you do. Hard now, easy later. The thing I say about that is, by me not even remembering him, he made an impact on my life all the way through. What I hope to do is to do the same thing for somebody else, whether I know them or not. As a true leader, who can basically I impact that years later, they can say, I remember that I heard some gentleman say, I don't know his name, I don't know what he had on or anything like that, but he spoke this and it resonated with me, and now we're here. That's what I call a true leader.
That's awesome. That is awesome, Terrence. Really, really is. And it can apply at any stage of your life, right? That's not just for the 7th grader. That's for the 17-year-old. That's for the 27-year-old, 37-year-old, 47-year-old. Because if we can rise up to do what it is we need to do today, that might be difficult. It does get easier later. That's powerful. What's been your biggest challenge as a Black male CEO, entrepreneur? Like, what has been the biggest challenge for you?
Sitting around some of the tables that I want to sit around. Okay. It's really more of an actually challenge has actually been being respected at times. Okay. Being respected at times for who you are, what you're done, and, you know, of your body of work and your business, and assume that you're like, you know, others. Like normally when I tell people that I'm a tax professional or an enrolled agent, because people don't understand, a lot of people don't understand really what an enrolled agent is. I'm grouped into a certain category automatically. I'm grouped into a certain category, you know, which is I'm grouped into, you know, just, oh, he just does taxes, if you will, right? He just have a little business on the side, right? I'm degraded, you know, to that point that is like, oh, he just got a little thing. It's not really like what it is. Because I don't, you know, flash, I don't do this. I don't say I'm doing whatever. I just like, yes, I've been doing this for a lot, but they may be thinking, oh, I know a lot of tax people right now, because there's a lot of tax companies out there, but there's different levels. Okay, of doing that. So to be able to sit around that table, you know, means that I have to have a body of work that people really actually like and appreciate and really talk about, okay, you know, to actually get to that next level, okay, of doing so. So I think that, you know, actually one of the things, you know, as a African-American actually male and stuff, I am looked at as possibly, oh, he has a tax company. There's a small tax company, okay, because there's not many African-Americans enrolled agents that's out there as well. It's not really a lot of enrolled agents. And when people do not understand really what there is, of course, is looked at as a tax professional. I remember when I actually go and actually speak in different places and stuff, you know, and I tell people I'm enrolled agents and that, and the person that's introducing me, right? They introduce me, and you can tell just by the introduction of, yeah, oh yeah, this is just my tax guy. Whoa. Okay. You would tell somebody else, no, this is and get their title. Okay. Oh, this is my CPA that does this. This is my enrolled agent with it. So not meaning to, it just automatically seems like it just happened in the culture. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that they're trying to do anything wrong, but it's like, that's when they look at you and they feel that, hey, this is, and it's okay with it. I'm like, I'm not okay with that. And the whole thing is that goes to the value. No, that goes into the value. One of the major things in my industry, I would think also as well, is individuals just not valuing the accountant or the enrolled agent or the CPA until something wrong happens. Okay, until something wrong happens and stuff. So that value goes into, you know, how much that they want to pay you. And actually doing so, you know, and things of that nature. So I think, you know, like those are the, you know, the things that I really actually can come to mind and actually speak about that as African-American male win the business and stuff, is that respected actual role of what I've done, the things that I've accomplished. And you know, and yes, I feel that I may have to do more,
Mm-hmm.
okay, than others, because I have to talk about, the degree at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. I have to talk about the different boards that I sat on the bank boards and the college boards and the different things. I have to do all those things where another person may have to just actually say, no, I'm an enrolled agent for blah, blah, blah years.
Mm-hmm.
It's a totally different. And I do see that a lot, that I have to go through more of my credentials
Mm-hmm.
before I'm able to sit at the table. Now, I truly believe, though, once you're at the table,
Mm-hmm.
you have to produce,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because I always actually tell people, okay, that I don't mind individuals actually saying, hey, that they come into my office because other colleagues, because we want to support, right, other Americans. I don't mind that at all. Yeah, definitely come, but at the same time, expect me to give you great service.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, don't come to me and then I give you bad service and I'll come to you. No. Okay. Expect to give actually great service. So you have to perform at every level that there is, and I'll probably actually say that, at a very young age, when I looked at my clientele and stuff, young age, I mean, like higher 20s, rated 30s, I'm still then about 30 at that time to 35%, non-Black as far as clientele.
Mm-hmm.
And that has still been growing as of today at a young age. It's something that was actually going up. Why? It was because of the body of work. So you can come to me from one place, okay, and then do that and stuff. And I've even had clients that have to say, oh, on the phone, I thought you were.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I thought you were. I've actually had that come, because the thing about it is, yes, our office presented that we invited everybody because everybody we want to help. I'm saying, and stuff like that. But there has been things that have came up to and stuff that we know, I'm saying, about and stuff. That was another race and things that nature, things would have been a little bit different because I wouldn't have got to sit at the table. But I believe, give me a chance at the table and watch my body of work.
Oh yeah, I know you're gonna hit it out the park. That's no doubt about it. You got too much of a competitive nature not to score. So school us real quick. Break down the credential that's valuable of being an enrolled agent.
Oh, awesome. An enrolled agent, well, there are 3 designations that can represent any client before the Internal Revenue Service. And when I mean represent, I mean you sign a power of attorney and they do everything actually for you. Okay. So that means they can talk for you to the Internal Revenue Service of all of your issues that you may have, whether it is spouse things, or you owe money, or things you see on TV, offering compromise, this, that. They represent you. Their word is word. Now, there's only 3. That's a tax attorney, that's a CPA, and that's an enrolled agent. Okay. Tax attorney, people kind of actually, the word attorney kind of says itself. They're able to represent you and go to court for you in tax court. Mm-hmm. They're the only ones that are able to do that, okay, in tax court itself, because you have to be an attorney to represent you in court, all right? The CPAs is one that we know a lot about because of school, okay? When you go to college, the only destiny there is a CPA, right? And actually doing so, whatever, the certified public accountant, which do some awesome things for you. You got to take 4 different actually tests. I know back then, I'm not sure actually right now, but 4 different actually tests that you have to actually take to become actually CPA, but you're authorized in your state to represent clients. But that's on taxes, on auditing and forensic, things of that nature, different stuff. An enrolled agent is the only ones that's done strictly with the Internal Revenue Service. Mm-hmm. Okay. They are the ones that basically have to go through 3 tests with the Internal Revenue Service, one on personal tax, business tax, and then representation with the Internal Revenue Service. Okay. Tax code and things of that nature. Well, we got to go through those 3 tests and then take continuing education credits like every single year. Then we have to go every 3 years a suitability actually check, which means it's kind of almost like you at the beginning, okay? In other words, you're doing what you're saying that you're going to do, even with them yourself, okay? You're held accountable, if you will, as far as doing that. We're done through the Internal Revenue Service itself. We're the only ones that has that. So we focus, what I'm saying, on tax. Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, you can have a CPA and they can focus on tax, great. But you can also have a CPA that focuses on just auditing, mm-hmm. a CPA that just focuses just on accounting or just on payroll. Okay, that when you're talking to an enrolled agent, you know that they focus on tax. and tax only. So that's the main difference. So if you have a tax a problem or issue or talking to, you rather want to go and talk to an enrolled agent. And now you're seeing the National Association of Enrolled Agents try to push that message out even further to individuals to let them know. I mean, you have some CPAs that become enrolled agents because of that purpose, because they want to focus on tax, not just on everything else.
So let me just kind of give some perspective of how valuable you are to the Taylor household. Okay.
Okay.
So we relocated to Charlotte in 2013, and I think we began working with you maybe 2014, something or somewhere around that time. But the truth of the matter is, when we met you, we owed 5 figures in taxes, 5 figures in taxes. And in working with you and you really helping us navigate just what you said, which is keep more of your money. This year, we got a return of 5 figures from our return. And so in just a few years, we have been able to flip what was a situation that truly was not working for us into a situation where we learned from working with you how to navigate. So when I say that you're valuable to us, you have been the guidepost to help us keep more of our money. Now, I can't let this moment go by without at least tapping into some of the tax saving strategies that you are often advocating, educating around, because they have been so integral in the turnaround for us. Now, I know you can go on and on, but I'm going to give you just a few minutes to be able to help the people. And then we're obviously going to let them know how they can get in touch with you so you can go deeper with them. But Terrence, please share with us some of the tax saving strategies that are often overlooked, but could be tremendously valuable, just like they have been for us.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go after 2 things actually that I really actually look at. Okay. I'll look at now and later. That's the candy. Okay. Now and later, right? I love it. The goal is to save money on your taxes now. So those monies you save in now can fund your later, which is retirement, and then to save money on your retirement tax-wise as well, now and later. The things that you want to do now, the biggest tax position that you can be in, okay? And people hear me say this all the time, is you need to have a business. You have to have a business, especially if you're a W-2 individual, okay, with nothing else. You have to have some. Why? It's only because that the tax code benefits the business owners the most. It just benefits the business owners most. Individuals actually know about the cash flow quadrant, and they know there's 4 ways that you can generate income: W-2, self-employed, business ownership, and an investor. And people always talk about, let's get to the right side of this quadrant. This Robert Kiyosaki's actually, like taught to make money there. But I always say it's not just make money there. You want to have your money taxed there, because the right side of the quadrant is taxed totally different. Investor income can go from 0% to 15% to 22%. Okay, there. Okay, corporate taxes this year is what, 21%. But individuals are paying 1/3 of their income actually plus towards taxes, and some of our income more. Okay, in doing so, when you have a business itself, you're able to take advantage of a lot of different deductions that you're not doing now, and you're spending money on it now. So it's all about taking some of the personal expenses that you're already spending on now and turn those into business deductions. Things like the automobile that you have. That's auto deductions that you can even take on a percentage of that. We save people thousands of dollars a year for that. Things as far as your trips that you're taking. You need to learn how to turn those into business trips. And you know a lot about that, into business trips. And all you got to do is have something to be a business day. Okay. When you have your kids, you heard me earlier actually say, if you're going to spend money on your kids, growing up, we used to hear all about, you do this, Terrence, you feed the dog, Terrence, you clean the room, Terrence, and we're going to give you some allowance. Stop giving your kids an allowance and give them a paycheck. You're going to give them a paycheck if you have a business, and give them a paycheck, because now you can give them a paycheck. The Internal Revenue Service doesn't dictate what they must do with their money. So let them pay for their own AAU and the expenses and the activities and schools and scouts, and you get the write-off. Thousands of dollars in savings actually right there. Medical insurance. We talk about medical insurance, expenses of it going up and going up, and it's getting high. It's getting high. We spend a lot of money for it, especially when retirement. Do you know that if you can position yourself, up to 100% of medical expenses and insurance can be a write-off, including over-the-counter drugs? Yes, your Advils, your Claritins, your all those things can potentially be a write-off. So if you're spending money on anything that I mentioned, including rent and mortgage and utilities, and you do not have a business, that's what I proved throughout the country, my seminars, you're losing a lot of money. So you have to actually have one that you have time for and make sure that it qualifies. You get a business to make money, not to get tax deductions. You hear that on my seminar. So you got to have the intent to generate a profit. You got to actively participate, and then you keep records and doing it. Those are things that you have to do. And you can do that 3 to 5 hours a week and make yourself a lot of money as far as actually savings. But then here's what I really see, Denise, when you talk about learning and next level, we really have to really look at our tax savings at retirement. Here's where we are missing a lot of right now, because when we are retiring, we're having our money, a lot of times we're talking to our financial planners and stuff and specialists, and they only talk about the accumulation of your money. They're not talking necessarily about the loss of your money, the stock market going up and down, but they do say, yes, there's a loss, but they always talk about what the average is going to always go up, right? But they don't really actually, show y'all that, but they never really talk about the tax implications of it, of what's going on. And I'm seeing a lot of people right now are going to be taxed on their money because everything is pretty much in the tax deferred. So you really need to have a specialist or tax professional to really look at the 3 pillars or buckets of investing your money in different things. You got to look at tax now, tax deferred, and tax free. And you may have to need something in every one of those buckets, but they have to ultimately lead towards tax now to tax free. And there's a lot of things that can actually do that for you. Taxes will go up. I don't care who's in office, what's going to happen, because it's at the lowest that it's actually been. So it will eventually go up. So do you want all of your money in tax deferred because you're saving money now at the lowest rate and then pay it at the higher? That doesn't make sense. Okay. So that's what you actually need to have to look at, to save your money now. You got to save money in your taxes now, but also look at saving on your taxes later. Now, later, have a piece of candy.
So here's what I say to everybody who is like, oh my gosh, he's so smart, he's deep. This is why you forge partnerships that are so smart and deep. Everything that Terrence just walked through, he's not saying you need to know it. He knows it, and he's going to help you navigate. You just need to be educated to know that this is something you need to give consideration to, that you need to manage. I have sat across from Terrence and said, break that down for me. Break that down for me. Break that down for me. And the reason why it's important to find someone who has a heart of helping you save your money is because when you ask them 3 times to break it down for you, they will be patient enough to walk you through it and help you navigate how to save. And that, to me, is the mark of not only being a successful person, a helpful person, a thriving entrepreneur, but a game changer in how you are helping your clients. And I, again, can only reiterate how valuable you are to us. And I hope that people will begin to forge the right relationships for their success by partnering with people like you. Terrence, thank you so much. You have been awesome.
Thank you.
All right, now, here at Life, Love, in the Pursuit of Happiness, we challenge people to build a life they love without apology. I always close out with my life, love, happiness questions, just to tap into your wisdom even more. So let's talk about it. Life wisdom. What would you tell your younger self about life if you could?
Wow. My younger self. Oh my God. All right. Be patient. Be patient. Remember the things that you have been told, and the outcome is going to be what you want.
Awesome. Love wisdom. What would you tell your younger self about love if you could?
Treat people like you want to be treated always.
That's good.
Always. Yeah.
That's good. And then finally, happiness wisdom. What would you tell your younger self about happiness if you could?
Look at what makes you happiest and not what other people are showing you.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at yourself. What's going to make you actually happy? People look at other people to me and, and think that they're happy, but things going on in their household and they're just that they're not happy. Look at what's going to make you happy and go from there. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. It's always a pleasure talking with you. I appreciate you, Terrence.
I appreciate you. Thank you for the invite.
Absolutely.
Hella family.
And like I always say, success looks so good on you.
Thank you. You too. Look at you.
I'm pretty sure you picked up on why Terrence is such a valued asset to the Taylor family. I got so wrapped up into him sharing his tax savings tips that I forgot to ask him to let you know how to get in touch with him. Now, if you would like to reach out to Terrence Hawkins, as well as the Hawkins Accounting and Tax Service, they are located in Charlotte, North Carolina, but they service nationwide. You can reach the business offices at area code 704-509-2399. Again, 704-509-2399. I could not have pulled off tips from the top without the amazing conversations that have taken place and that everyone has experienced. From Dr. Patrick Graham to Shanna Plott, to Jennifer Woodruff, to Julie Frank, and today with Terrence Hawkins. You can see why surrounding yourself with quality people make a difference in what you can achieve. I hope that you will strengthen your crowd. Whatever level you are, level up. Figure out how to bring people into your circle who can build you up. I'll leave you with this. I once heard TD Jakes say, if you're the smartest one in the circle, you need to change circles. I love having you a part of the Life, Love, and Pursuit of Happiness community. If we have not connected in the podcast community, I have no idea what you are waiting for. And if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe today. Make sure that you're sharing these episodes with your friends. Be a good friend. When you find out something that'll help somebody else, pass it along. Thank you for being connected, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Well, that's it, beautiful. Thank you for tuning in. Don't ever forget that you truly deserve life, love, and all the happiness your heart can hold. Be relentless in building a life you love without apology. I'm Denise Taylor, and you can always find me in our free Facebook community. Life, Love, in the Pursuit of Happiness, easy to find. Now, if you want more information about my success superpowers, as I'm sure you do, download my free Success Superpowers ebook at denisetaylor.live/podcast. And one last thing, always embrace your power and go.